It's time to lock the doors and turn out the lights. You're listening to Tales of the Unknown.
I cast you out! Unclean spirit!
Show it up your ass!
In the name of our Lord Jesus Christ! It is he who commands you! He who flung you! Hence of heaven to the depths of hell!
Fuck him!
Be gone!
Fuck him, Garrett!
From this creature of God! Be gone! In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit!
Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Tales of the Unknown. I'm Doc Stoney. With me is Wayne and Ted, and we've got a very, very special guest. We want to take a moment and thank her for the honor. Horror legend, Eileen Dietz. Welcome to the show.
Yay!
Well, thank you very much. And thank you very much for that introduction, and thank you for having me.
Oh, it is our honor and our privilege. You are one of the true legends. You're in one of the movies that literally started me on my love of horror, and to this day I count it in my top 3.
What's the other two? You led me to ask you that. What's the other two?
Evil Dead and the original
The original Evil Dead, and what's the other one?
Yep, and the original Amityville Horror.
Oh. My friends are making some kind of a sequel or something to the Amityville Horror. I have no idea what it is, and I have no idea why they're doing it. But
nice.
If it's not a good script, they wouldn't be doing it. So who knows?
Well, that could be fun.
Actually, my niece, who I'm staying with in Manhattan, grew up in Amityville.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So it's a small world. And Evil Dead, I've never seen Evil Dead. I'm sorry.
It's a great one. It's pretty good. It ain't bad. It ain't bad.
I guess I should see it.
But I mean, Exorcist, yeah, that was one of the very first horror movies I can actually remember watching, and it just imprinted me for horror for life. It's
How old were you?
God, 10, 11.
Ooh.
I was young.
That's kind of young.
Oh, my
yeah.
mom let me
It's
watch
not
it.
young
I
now.
cool mom.
Yeah, it's not. How old are you now?
I'm 44.
34?
44.
Yeah, so it was like 14 years ago.
No,
right?
Did I watch the movie? No, I watched the movie like 30 years ago.
Oh, no, 24 years ago.
Yeah, no, 34.
No, 34. He's 44.
We'll figure this out. You just said you were 34.
No, 44. 4-4.
Oh, 44. Okay.
Yeah, we were
Yeah,
closer to the first one. I'm 37.
I'm 37.
So.
Oh, you guys are old.
Oh, I know.
Not compared to me. Compared to you.
Oh, no, come on. You're
Yes.
only as young as you're only as old as you feel, and looking at your
Never
work
old.
record, ma'am, you are younger than all of us put together.
She's got us beat. She's been busy.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
I know.
Rocking
It's
it.
guys like you that keep me young, believe me. It's working that keeps me young. I've just been working a lot lately, so it's kind of nifty.
And
That's
you're into
good.
amazing
There's an old word.
projects.
Nifty. Thank you. I'm going to be
you're
quiet
quite
and let you ask me a question.
Oh, like we said, this is your time. But one thing I got to ask is on that movie, what was it like? Like, what was the atmosphere of the set, if you remember, of The Exorcist? Because there's all these urban legends almost that go around the making of that film now.
Well, Billy Friedkin is not one of the most popular people in Hollywood. The director, for those of you who might not know, for the 2 people out there that don't know that, he's not a very much loved person in Hollywood, not then and not now. So most things on the set were kind of tense, and the film went way over budget and way over time. It took 14 months to shoot it, and most films now take about 5 or 6 weeks. That was a long time. I mean, from pre-production to post-production. But there was one point that Billy hated the whole living room set. Just hated it. So he tore the whole thing down, and everybody went on a 2 or 3, week-long hiatus. And they have to pay you, because otherwise you could go take another job if you wanted to. So he fired the entire first crew. So things were a little tense. But when he wasn't there, things were great. And things were great in the makeup room. And then it was really fun, and people saying jokes. And,
People were
you know, because, I mean, the things we're doing were so weird. I mean, who vomits, you know, through an apparatus or masturbates with a crotch?
And let's remember, there was no CGI back then. It was all literal effects.
Thank God.
Good old school practical.
That's right. Good old prosthetics and actual effects, and I mean, it was done amazing.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the whole thing about The Exorcist was all in the script. Dick Smith makeup, the special effects were done by a man named Marcel, and I don't remember his last name. I'm sorry, Marcel. And from the camera work and editing, that's what put the whole film together. Oh, I forgot the director. Gee, I'm sorry.
Sounds like that's quite understandable. Well, okay, well, let's fast forward. How would you compare that to working on your newer films? You've got two that are actually being talked about a lot right now in social media.
Which is?
Abnormal Attraction and Pale Horse are two of those.
Oh, well, Abnormal Attraction, that's why I'm in Manhattan. I'm shooting that on Wednesday. So I can't tell you that. But I do know these guys. I made a film for them before.
Well, we know the name, and we know you're in it, so that's good enough for us. We know it's coming.
Yeah.
We're already
well,
waiting.
the guys are great. The whole production company is called Fuzz on the Lens, and they're great guys. I mean, they're really passionate about what they do, and they're fun, and they're silly, but they're really well prepared, and they really know what they're doing. And look, they got Malcolm McDowell in there, and Bruce Davison, and Tyler Maine, and oh gosh, the list just goes on and on.
Yeah, Ron Jeremy's in it, right?
Oh yeah. Well, I don't know him.
Well, we don't
I'm not
either.
sure I want to know him. he's bizarre. Yeah, and Gottlieb, what's his name, Jeffrey Gottlieb. Yeah, so I imagine that from everything I hear that things are going really, really well with that. And Pale Horse was it was just awesome. In fact, I'm practically positive they just picked up Harry, let me get his name right, Monfredini, to do the music on it. And he did all the music on all the Friday the 13th movies.
Oh, very
and
nice.
A whole bunch of horror. I mean, he's a real horror icon in the music business. And it looks like he's probably going to score it for Pale Horse. And a man named Adam Howard, who's won 2 Oscars for special effects and stuff, as a crew on Star Wars. He's going to be doing he's going to be working on making it even more supernatural than it is.
Oh,
so
great.
both those films are going to be amazing.
And that's just the tip of the iceberg. I mean, you've got an amazing IMDb list. I mean, not including your past work, just what you've got upcoming or filming.
And isn't that amazing? You know what I think? I think what's happening is people are, because I don't audition for any of these, and you know they say, "Hey, we need a middle-aged horror queen." Notice I didn't say scream queen. I'll get to that later. We need a middle-aged horror queen who's not going to break the bank. Let's call Eileen. And I think that's one of the reasons I've been working so much lately. Fine with me. I don't care. I just like to work. Who cares about money? Money. Who cares about money?
And it shows. When you do it for love, it shows. And I mean, you've been in some amazing productions. You were in Halloween 2, the remake in 2000.
Yeah, well, I mean, some of the things I do pay a lot of money, and then some of the things I do don't pay a lot of money, so that they all balance each other out. I did an amazing film right after the turn of the year. It's called Lake Alice, and we went up to a place called Tomahawk, Wisconsin. It was 10 degrees below zero. And I had such a good time. And the script is so good, guys, that when I was reading the script, I didn't know whether I was a serial killer or not. That's how well written it was. I honestly really didn't know. And, you know, I opened the film playing, I own the Village Cafe. And I'm really sweet and really nice. And then, you know, it was wonderful. The cast, the producer was a guy named Scott Miller, and his sister actually wrote the script. Her name is Stevie Miller, and the whole crew was, like you said, they were all there for the love of filmmaking. I think they'd all gone to school together at one time, but they've all gone their own. And Scott's done like a million films. He just came back from Alaska where he was shooting something, and so they all got together to make this movie, and it was really made out of love. And I haven't seen it yet. It's probably going to come out really soon. It was 10 degrees below zero, but who cared, you know? I mean, the crew got the worst of it because they had to be outside all the time. And I was going to say something, but I don't know if it's a spoiler, but I was out in the snow, and it was cold, but it wasn't windy. So that made it okay. But, I've just been really having fun. Another movie I did is finally going to show up in Red Book. It's called The Devil Knows Its Own, and it's going to be in Red Box, in the fall. So, yeah, it's really cool.
And speaking of the fall, you've also got your article coming up as part of the Legends of Horror episode in...
Oh, isn't that something? Yeah,
it's well-deserved. You are one of the true legends, ma'am.
Oh, thank you. Well, you know, they're featuring 3 films that I was in, which is kind of, you know, awesome.
We're not worthy!
Why don't I just take over the whole magazine? Forget everybody else.
You should.
Eileen Dietz and everybody else.
You should tell Amy and Emery to put you right on the cover.
Only me?
Just you.
I know.
Tell them
just you.
You're taking it over.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's tell him. Is Amy listening to this whole thing?
Oh,
yeah, listening right now.
He is, too.
You can tell her yourself.
We'll tell her. Amy and Emery, you have to put Eileen on the front cover by herself. She's taking over.
Yep.
There you go.
Voila!
Oh, Amy's been wonderful. She's my director of marketing, and she's just awesome. I mean, she's just really awesome. She's going to try and come down to New York and come on set for Abnormal Attraction if she can get away from her kids long enough.
Well, speaking of kids,
come on, guys, ask me some questions.
Speaking of kids, you've also got the recently completed movie, which looks like it was a lot of fun. Kids versus Monsters.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. That's coming out next spring. And, see, that's one of the movies that you make your money on so that you can afford to work on the other one. And I have a scene with Malcolm McDowell, and Malcolm and I have actually been in 4 films together. And I know Malcolm very well. But we've been in 4 films together, which is probably incredible. But Kids vs. Monsters is the first scene that we did together. And he's hysterical. I just knew he was just going to try and mess me up while I was working, and he did. And at one point, I took this really long walk through this long hall. I played a witch through this long, long hall. And he looks at me and he goes, "Darling, can you please make that walk a little faster? I'm just sitting here watching it." And I looked at him and I said, "Malcolm, you have 5 scenes in this movie, at least, maybe more. I have 1 scene. I will walk just as slow as I want to."
Walk as slow as you can, but it's only one. But you also worked with Lance Henriksen in that movie, or he was in that movie as well.
Lance Henriksen, yeah, he's in this scene too. Yeah.
Oh, great. That's got to be amazing.
They're wonderful people. Oh, and I forgot. How could I forget? At the end of the month, I'm going to Wales to make a movie called The Haunted, and it's a British Gothic movie, and most of it's still under wraps. But it's directed by an amazing man called, his name is Sean Anthony, and he's been writing for True Blood, and it's going to be a British Gothic horror thing, and I get to play this really weird character in the prison, and so that's really exciting. I mean, off I go to Wales at the end of the month.
Beautiful.
Tell me my life isn't amazing.
Oh, no, that's awesome.
Okay, I'm sure people want to know, which do you prefer, though, working on movies or working in TV? Because you've done an awful lot of TV work over your career as well.
Well, TV pays more money. Getting back to money again. TV definitely pays more money, and probably more people get to see it. But film's really fun because you really get to know the cast and crew a lot. TV is sometimes really fast, you know.
Right.
You go in, you do your thing, and you leave. But on films, you get it's like a little family. Like when I went to Wisconsin. So, and I mean, not to sound Pollyanna-ish, which I don't think there's anything wrong with sounding like Pollyanna, she's just very sweet and positive. I just like working. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's film or TV or whatever. Once they say action, it doesn't really matter, right?
Right.
Yeah,
and I mean, and to touch just quickly on your TV career, you were part of some amazing shows. I mean, you did a Happy Days episode, a Trapper John episode. These were iconic shows that everybody remembers.
Well, that's the fun thing about my career. Is most everything I've done, people know about, like Helter Skelter, which was just an awesome project. And General Hospital. A man can tell me?
I said you were one of the Manson family in Helter Skelter.
I was, and I had a bald head and a swastika. My mom always, may she rest in peace, but my mother always said, I mean, can't you ever play anybody just pretty? Just nice and pretty? And I said, no. No. Even in the hospital, I played a character in a mental hospital. And I told the makeup people, I said, look, guys, she's in the mental hospital, She thinks she's still this kid and carries a doll with a gun in its head because she doesn't want to grow up. That's why she's in the mental hospital. And I said, I don't want a ton of makeup. I don't want to look like a soap opera star. I said, I just need a foundation, a little mascara, and blush on. And the makeup people were really, really happy because I was in and out of there in like 10 minutes. But, my poor mother, she said, can't you just really look pretty in something and be nice? I said, no, I can do that in my real life, but not my acting life. I have stunned you into silence. You guys have nothing to say.
We're having a great time just sitting here listening to what you have to say.
Definitely.
Oh, I can go on and on. I haven't talked about my book yet.
You can talk. Tell us about everything. We're here to listen.
That's exactly what this is for. This is for whatever projects you want to tell us about or you're able to talk about. This is your time.
I do want to talk about my book, though. It's called Exorcising My Demons, and it was actually written by an amazing guy named Dan Loubier, and I just told him stories like I'm doing now, practically, and he put it into a book that it'll make you laugh, it'll make you cry, it'll really make you cry, too. And everybody knows about the scary things that happened on The Exorcist, but nobody knows about the funny stuff. Right. So the whole beginning of it, though, the whole first third of the book is how I became an actress. And it's all I ever wanted to do since I was 7. And, I didn't know I was in New York, but I didn't know what to do or how to do it. So I just kind of made it up as I went along. And, he tells stories when they went to see Peter Pan. My mother took us to Peter Pan in the middle of a snowstorm. And, I sat in the second balcony, and I swear, I thought that if I could fall off the balcony and land on the stage, I could become one of the Lost Boys, and then I could become an actress. And it seemed very logical to my 7-year-old mind. And then I thought, but what if I miss the stage and I end up in the audience? I went, nah, that ain't going to work, and went to sleep. So that's what the book is like. It's like when I first did Summer Stock, and it's written so beautifully. And unfortunately, the director of the Summer Stock Company in Michigan just wanted to bed me, as they say. Took me over to Michigan, and so I didn't last very long there. I got fired. But the way Dan writes about it'll just break your heart. It still breaks mine, because I was going to go to Michigan and be this big star, and I was going to star in all these plays and stuff like that, and it just was all bullshit. He just really wanted to fuck me. Can I say that on the air?
Yeah. You're going to say what you wish.
You were free to go ahead.
And he went to really sad. And like the last day I was there, after I got fired, there was no place for me to sleep, so I slept on the stage. They had a bedroom set. But I got my equity card, and that came before my SAG card. And so that's how the book is written. And then after all that stuff goes on, it goes into The Exorcist and how I got the job and the audition. I had to do, people love to call me a double, and I was never a double because doubles are extras. And I thought if the casting notes had gone out for a double, I never would have done it because I'd never done extra work. But I had to do 2 auditions and an improvisation and a screen test. And we go into how I prepared for the audition. And for some reason, I was really, really skinny. But the casting director said, maybe you should look, because I had to look like Linda Blair. because I was made up to look like Reagan. And she said, well, maybe you should lose some weight. And at that time, in the back of magazines, they had advertisements for plastic suits. And the idea was you put a plastic suit on and you perspired because it was plastic. Well, I didn't have time to do that, so I wrapped my body in saran wrap. And I just bicycled my way through Central Park. And I don't know if he did anything. But that's what the book is like. And then it talks about the first day on the set and what that was like and wearing that makeup all the time. Also, when I went up to Dick Smith's studio, which was amazing because he had done Marlon Brando for The Godfather was his work, and Dustin Hoffman for Little Big Man, and he had masks and things. So I went up to his studio, and so that's what the whole book, for you people that are interested in film, and specifically The Exorcist, you should buy the book because you'll learn things that you've never known before. And then the last part of the book is what I was doing since then. So that's my little commercial. It's a really, really fast read. The chapters are very short. So if you feel like, oh, I can't sit down and read a book, the chapters are really short. And not to mess up my book sales, but my plan this year is to make an audio book so that all the people that don't read anymore, and there's lots of people that don't read anymore, then they can pop it into their cassette players in their car or their CD players. I mean, boy, that aged me, didn't it?
Well, that's the nice thing about audiobooks is if you don't have time to read, you can get the stories on the road.
That's it.
Yeah, and laugh and cry and stuff like that. So that's my little commercial. You can, you guys can always find me on Facebook. I have over 5,000 friends, so I don't know exactly how that works. I have a fan page, too, as well, though.
I think 5,000 is the limit, and then after that, people can follow you, but they can't exactly friend you anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's how it works.
Well, then, if you guys are interested in the book, you can go to my fan page, which Amy put together, and it's under Eileen Dietz, so you can PM me and find out more information about my book, or you can go to my website, which is eileendietz.com, and you can pay me by PayPal. And added to that, I feel like an infomercial sometimes. And not only that, if you call right now, I will include an 8x10 photograph just for you. And not only that,
but if you call right now,
but you can really do that. PayPal is the best way because you can get. I mean, instead of Amazon, it's also on Amazon and Barnes and Noble. But if you want to get it autographed, and if you buy it on, if you go PayPal or if you PM me, I can send you an address. You can send me a check. Those little things that you write. Nobody writes checks anymore.
What are those exactly?
Yeah, exactly.
Lost art. They're like Latin nowadays.
Or it's like my cat is named Smudge. It was named after because she looks like she rolled in carbon paper. And people go, carbon paper? What's that? I don't know what carbon paper is. So that's my little commercial. So if you guys are interested in the book, then that's how you can get a copy of it.
Definitely, it sounds like a great read. I mean, like I said, you've got such an extensive career, and not just horror movies. You've been in bits of everything. I mean, you've got a very extensive, wide-ranged career, and that shows talent, especially with your longevity. And then you've got your modern projects that just seem to be exploding for you, and it's so well deserved.
I know. I'm really very blessed. You consider I play demons and witches and all kinds of people like that. I'm still very blessed.
But that's fun.
But on the other hand, for people who are listening, the book is also about dreams and choices. And I really believe if you have a dream, follow it. Do what you can. And I don't even mean to be an actress. You might want to open up, you might want to do wardrobe or art direction or makeup, or maybe you just want to open up a beauty salon, or maybe you just want to be a mom. But whatever your dream is, you should follow it because that's what'll make you happy. And you'll fall down. I certainly fell down many times. You'll fall down, but you get up, and then you fall down again. And don't let anybody distract you from your dream. Because I can't even tell you about the negativity I got the whole time I was growing up. Like, you can't be an actress. You're too little. You're not pretty enough. You're not, I came out of an era, really. there were some people in between, but like the Jane Mansfields and the Bridget Bardots and all those people, really sexy women.
Right, you were at the beginning of the modern era of what everybody thinks is the Hollywood sex symbol now. You were right
came
at
after
the very
Twiggy.
beginning of that.
Twiggy was kind of, Twiggy, if people remember Twiggy, because she was like a twig. But for some reason, and I don't quite understand why, but for some reason people love to be negative. Well, maybe because they don't follow their dreams. And they'll put every negative thing in your path and say, you can't do that. You know how many actors there are in the world, Eileen? Do you know how many people want to be actors? What makes you think you can be an actress? You know what I mean? And for all you guys out there that have dreams and have things you want to do, go do it, Go live it.
Exactly.
Amen.
I mean, you guys, look at you guys. You're running like a magazine web show. And why are you doing that? Because you wanted to, right?
Definitely. It's just a love.
I mean, did someone tell you, oh, no, do you know how many web shows there are? Do you know how many things on the internet there are? Yeah.
I've been getting told no since 1986 about radio and DJing, and here I am today.
Your story hits so close to home with me. I'm a independent filmmaker here in the Midwest, and I ran into the exact same thing when I said this is what I want to do. I had so many people tell me, you can't do that, you're never going to go anywhere, and yada, yada, yada. And it's hard. It's hard to deal with that kind of negativity and still push forward with your dream at the same time. But, I kept on and I kept on. And about 5 years later, I got to work on my very first feature film, which was called House of Forbidden Secrets, and we had quite a few names like Lou Temple, Ari Lehman, and several others on.
Oh, good Lord.
So it was very nice afterwards to go back to that people and tell them, even the ones that were negative, never give up on what you want.
Yeah.
Because
and the best thing is to let them also find out themselves, They say, oh, my God, he actually made that film, And, the story is absolutely in the doing. That's great. Now I'm going to have to go see it.
Yeah, we're hoping it'll be out soon.
What? The House of Forbidden... What did you say? House of Forbidden Secrets?
House of Forbidden Secrets. Right now, it is still out there floating around the indie circuit, doing a lot of festivals.
Oh, great. When did you shoot it?
We started shooting it in winter of 2012, and shooting and reshoots, and, a lot of it kept going on until later part of 2013, close to 2014.
Wow. That's great. That's great. So it's on the festival circuit now? And
yes.
You're looking for distribution, I'm sure, right?
Yes, it's out and doing its thing.
Well, congratulations. I congratulate you on that.
I was only actually I was second unit director, and I was also in charge of the special effects and a lot of other things. But you know as well as I do, working on any kind of film, everybody involved, you look at it as a personal thing. It's your film to you. Something you put so much time into.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And, like indie films, I really think 98% of the time it's a very positive experience. Like you said before, everybody's there because they want to be there.
Yes.
And for no other reason. And that makes a hell of a difference.
Yeah, it makes a huge difference. You get so many people that come in and they're passionate about what they're doing, even the ones that don't have experience and are, very willing to come on and learn.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and I don't think you get a lot of, complaining and stuff like that. Because, like we said, everybody's there because they want to be there. And, it's funny because I go from sets where I did one movie called A Dangerous Summer with Eric Roberts. Eric's doing every indie show around anyway. But believe it or not, they had a crew of 8 people. 8. And it was fun. I had a great time. They shot a feature in 4 days. And I said to the director, because I never auditioned for that, I said, I had a 4-page monologue. I said, how did you know I could do a 4-page monologue in 2 takes? And he said, I just knew. I stunned you into silence again.
That was an Iron Man. That was like an Iron Man set. It's like you're talking.
Yeah, wow, like 4 days.
You knocked out.
Feature.
Oh, holy moly!
But of course, there was.
Don't worry about it. When you have me on the phone, you don't have to say anything. I'll just keep going.
And we welcome that. One question I did have for you is, are you a big fan of all the practical makeup, the heavy effects, that kind of thing? Do you like sitting down and going through that process, depending on the character that you're playing in a film?
That's a good question. It's very interesting because in my regular life, I'm very restless. I'm always moving. I'm always doing something, and I very rarely sit still very long. But when I do makeup, and most of them are 3.5 hours, I get really zen about it, and I'm just very still, and so it's a very restful period. A lot of times they have to make a face mask, and it's real quiet under there. They put all the sweat and stuff on your face, and that part of it's very relaxing. And from the beginning of the process to the end of the process, when it's the final wrap, I just find everything is just so much fun to do. It's make believe. It's it's all make believe, and they tell you where to go, what to do, what to wear, and what to say. So they take all that kind of responsibility away from you, and all you have to do is create your character and learn your lines. So the makeup is just part of the process. But interestingly enough, that it's taking off the makeup that's tougher than putting it on, because then you want to go home. But
yes,
most of the makeup is done with different pieces of prosthetics, and they have to take each prosthetic off all by itself. So that usually takes a long time. And The Exorcist, it took about 45 minutes to take the makeup off. And then you really want to go home. You just want to pull it off, right? You just grab it. And all that stuff is in the book, too. But you just want to grab it and pull it off. So, it's all part of the process. Have you ever heard anybody say, I hate it? And I wish it would be over?
Actually, a lot of people. How I got started into independent films was, as a kid, I grew up, I spent a lot of time in the movie theater, at the drive-in. I was a huge Universal Monsters fan, Godzilla, that kind of thing. And later on in life, I had got into haunted houses. I did professional haunted house acting, makeup, building sets for about 19 years, and that's how I got into film. So I always like to ask anybody I talk to that's done film and has wore the prosthetics and that kind of thing, because you get a lot of different reactions. Some people love it, and it's a lot of torture. I've done it myself. And then some people are just not fans of it.
Yeah, well, I don't love it in that sense. I don't hate it. It's just part of the process. And which one are you? Are you from Ontario, or are you from Missouri?
I'm Wayne. I'm from Kansas City.
Aha. And so they had a haunted house you worked at in KC?
Yes, we actually have an area here that's famous. The Beast, the Edge of Hell, what's called the West Bottoms. There's been several haunted houses there over the years.
Do you still work at it?
No, I don't. My last season was in 2012.
Oh, I was going to ask you, because some haunted houses bring celebrities down.
Actually, we had several come down.
Oh, well, tell them to bring me down even if you're not there. And we'll meet in person.
I will see what I can do. Also, we also have, every August, we have Kansas City Crypticon. I'm sure you're probably aware of the Crypticon horror conventions.
Oh, yeah.
That would be awesome to have you here one time.
For some reason, I've done the show. I've done Seattle Crypticon twice.
Right.
But I never been invited to come to the KC one. I have no idea why.
Well, I will put a word in with Chaz, the man himself, and tell him that we have to get you here.
Definitely.
That'd be great. Yeah, I don't think he'd be upset that I did that other show 3 years ago, but promoters are very weird. I can't remember the name of the show, the one I did. It was a one-time only show, and, I became really good friends with the promoter. Her name is Michelle Dillman. We became really good friends, but they never did another one. They absolutely lost their shirt. And, I said, I wish I'd known you before I did the show, because I would have helped you. But, live and learn. Now, that would be great. I'd love to come down to KC again. I have a great barbecue sauce. I went to the casino there. My friends who I met in Vegas took me to a big old casino. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes, I do.
And we went there and had dinner. I don't think we stayed very long, but we had a really, really nice dinner.
A lot of people that visit here really enjoy the barbecue. That's always the big thing you hear about is the barbecue.
I tried to bring some. They wouldn't let me bring it in through security. So then my friend had to mail me some. Because it's weird, because the store was outside of security. And yet, maybe because it was in a glass bottle. I mean, because you can bring food in, but they wouldn't let me bring the bottle in. Barbecue sauce. But I'm going to demonize. I'm going to come get you.
I love it.
This is how
They need to remember that you are the Queen of Screams.
That's right. I am the Queen of Screams, but I'm not a Scream Queen. The title, I know they're doing a TV show called Scream Queens, but I think the title has been so misused. And it's like VH1 has a show called Scream Queens. So excuse me, I don't mean to be disrespectful, but every, like grade B actress that had one line on VH1, they all can, and they're usually very pretty and very busty, but they don't know anything about acting. They all call themselves Scream Queens. So that's why I don't call myself a Scream Queen. I have to just call myself Queen of Screams.
Right.
Which I did an amazing movie, but it's stuck in a vault someplace. The producer had all kinds of problems with it, so it's sitting in a vault. But you never know. Someday it could come out.
Yeah, someday it can happen.
Yeah.
I actually read up on the Queen of Screams, and it sounded like a good movie.
It really is. I'm trying to talk to the woman, some time has passed, and I'm trying to talk to her about getting it released again. Some of it's very good, some of it's not so good. But I'm very good, I'm told. We'll see. You never know. They could bring it out and do it again. So, guys, do you have any final questions for me?
I have a question for you. You got to act in an episode of Happy Days.
Yes, I did.
And I grew up watching. I absolutely loved that show, and I was curious how that experience was getting to work with Henry Winkler and all those wonderful people.
Well, I met Henry Winkler before he was the Fawn, which is really an interesting story. I was out in the Hamptons on Long Island, which you probably heard about. Mm-hmm. And he had just graduated Yale, and he actually came up to me and he had said, "How do you make a living in this business? What do you do?" And I told him, what I had been doing, and then he went on to become the Fonz. Do you know what episode I was in?
The Time Capsule, I believe.
Yeah, but do you remember seeing it, or just the name?
No, I actually remember seeing it. It's the one where if I remember correctly, they end up being trapped down in the basement of a hardware store or something where they were storing the time capsule.
Yeah. Well, actually, it was the back of Ronnie Howard's father's hardware store.
Okay.
So it was the back room that we all got locked in there, and it was actually one of their absolute favorite episodes that they ever shot. And it was kind of cool. He used to be in TV Guide all the time, and remember TV Guide?
Yes.
But, they always put my name in there in TV Guide. I thought that was kind of cool. But it was one of their favorite episodes. And Ronnie and the Fonz had this big talk about death. And, Johnny Most had this big scene. It was very funny. I actually have a copy of that.
Oh, yeah. Why not? Come on.
Yeah. Well, some things you just can't get a hold of. It's like I do the show for PBS when I was really kind of young. I did it, and I actually did a scene with Sam Waterston from Law and Order, and it was really pretty. It was a whole bunch of skits, actually. Skits scenes about pollution and various aspects, and they asked all the off-Broadway playwrights to submit a little story about pollution. And I think it was Sam Waterston, a woman named Charlotte Ray, not really big names, just New York working actor names. And Sam and I did this really nice little play where I was pregnant, and we moved to the woods to get rid of all the urban stuff, and all we did was eat chicken, because we thought chicken was much better than beef. They didn't have the same hormones in them and stuff like that. And we just talk about our chicken, and then I give birth to an egg. It was a Leonard Nelsey play. And I wish I had a copy of that. I really wish I had a copy of that. So I don't have copies of everything I've done, but that would be really fun to have a copy of.
Yeah, that's kind of a bummer they didn't give you that.
Yeah, I wonder if they have a kinesioscope. Well, I mean, they didn't have DVDs then. you couldn't record it. So
No, exactly. We might have been able to get it on a VHS, but it wouldn't work anymore, and we wouldn't have a player to play it in.
well, listen, my manager has about 1,000 videos, VHS videos, that he has no idea what to do with. And you can transfer them to DVD, but he's not going to transfer 1,000 of them. And I don't know anybody that wants to go through them and find out, it'd be worth it to just go through them and find out if there's some of them that are out of print and that you would transfer to DVDs. But I don't know what's going to happen. But they're kind of worthless. You guys remember the 8-tracks?
Oh yes.
Yes. I actually had the adapter that would take the 8-track, like you put the cassette in it to play it in your 8-track deck.
Really? Well, that didn't last very long at all, did it? Maybe
my little brother and me, we had the Beach Boys, one of their albums on 8-track, and that's all we owned. So we'd play the same thing over and over and over again.
I remember buying my first VCR when I got cast on General Hospital, and it was big. It was this big thing, and you put the tapes in it. But I'll tell you, it was big. It was $1,000, but the thing lasted for like 10, 12 years. I mean, now you can buy, a VCR for $98. Well, you can buy a DVD player for about $98. So
yeah, everything is so cheap.
Oh, yeah. But, yeah, that was my present to myself. It was $1,000. And it was very... We sat down and used to watch the Z channel.
Yeah, 'cause, I mean, you started your career. I was going to say, you started your career on two of the most iconic TV soaps ever, Guiding Light and General Hospital.
Well, General Hospital still here. Guiding Light is gone a long time ago.
Yeah,
it was iconic for years, and it's still talked about to this day, Guiding Light.
Yeah, I got to go to the Bahamas on Guiding Light. They sent me down to the Bahamas, and I learned how to scuba dive. And I drowned on the show scuba diving. Tell me that's not a great job.
Kind of ironic when your character's last name was Waterman.
You're absolutely right.
I just thought about that as you're telling me the story. I'm looking at it. It says character Lynette Waterman, and I drowned.
I've seen that coming.
You guys are funny.
Is that kind of like wearing the red shirt on the away team?
The red shirt on the what?
The away team. It's a Star Trek joke. The one color of shirt, you knew that person was going to die every time.
My husband is a huge Star Trek fellow. But I think a lot of it was a male show back then. I don't know why, but I wish I'd been around to shoot it. That would have been fun. All the women had the big hair.
The big old hives, yeah.
The big everything, yeah. They had
Loved it.
Again, the effects on that show were just amazing for its time.
Yeah.
They need to go back. They need to remember. They need to literally remember, like movies like The Exorcist, where the effects were done, actual effects. Mm-hmm. I want to take a moment and thank you for being here, and to wrap up,
awesome.
Make sure that we get out your website, your book site, all your information, so that these people know how to keep in touch with one of the true legends of not just horror, but acting in general. And it is.
Thank you so much. Yeah, and I want to thank Amy Humphries again for putting this all together, for being my director of marketing. I think she's great.
Yay!
And,
Amy!
And if you want to order my book, you can always go through Amy. She has a Facebook page as well under Amy Humphries, and she'll take care of the whole thing.
Yes, we actually.
You guys better be the first to order it.
I'll jump right on that. I'm a huge reader.
Definitely. Okay. I actually want a copy myself. And we want to take a moment and thank both Emery Sloan and Amy Humphries for helping us put this interview together tonight.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll have to mention you in the magazine.
And not only that, Amy is actually our female vocal voiceover, as you want to call it, intro now for the show.
That's right.
Oh, that's amazing. She's so sweet. She's so pretty. I haven't met her in person yet. Like I said, I hope she can make it down here and come down to the set. Washington, D.C. is not that far from Manhattan.
She
we're
has
hoping
been
she can
very
get
helpful.
away. Oh, she's great. She's great. And you've seen pictures of her, and she's beautiful.
I was
Okay,
trying to
on
put
that-
together.
Hmm?
Go ahead.
No, I say on that happy note, you guys can PayPal me. Make sure and put your address in there. The book is $25 plus 2-day delivery postage. So it all comes to $31. Cheap at any price. And not only that, if you order within the next 24 hours.
Use special promo code Nomad Radio.
We need
Okay, I'm
this
gonna go
woman
now.
working with us. She's good.
I know.
Okay.
Don't need it. It needs you.
Thank you so much from the bottom of our hearts. It has been a true honor,
You're
especially knowing
awesome.
how busy your day's been, to take the time out to do this for us. We truly.
Okay, well, I'm going to try and get myself to KC Comic-Con. And if you guys ever come to LA, be sure and Facebook me and tell me you're coming, and we'll figure it out. Okay?
We will most definitely do that, and we'll be following you on Facebook.
Yeah, when you get on Facebook, please remind. Actually, I've been deleting people lately, so there might be a way to get on there. Yeah, I decided that I'm deleting everybody. I believe in freedom of speech, and I believe everybody is right to their own opinion, and people have a right to say. But some of these idiotic political a-holes that are on my Facebook, I just delete them like little ducks in an arcade. I just shoot them down. I say, "You're an idiot. Bye."
You have to.
You can't. You can't. And some people are really nasty, though, politically. They're
Yes,
just
they can
really
be.
nasty.
That really brings out the worst in people, sadly.
Yeah,
There's
sometimes
no
I think that they
communication
just
after
say. Sometimes I think they just say they don't really believe it unless they listen to Fox News. But sometimes they just say to be stupid.
Nomad. I love it.
It's so awesome. It's so awesome.
You're a nomad.
Okay, well, I can keep going. I say goodbye, and I keep going. So I am going to say goodbye, and thank you.
Thank
and,
you.
Finally.
I'll see you on Facebook.
Most definitely, and we'll be watching for you in the theaters and on our screens because you've got
Okay.
many more movies ahead.
And we have to
Yeah,
have you come on
definitely.
at some point in time in the future and tell us what you have going at that point in time.
There's a movie I wanted to talk about, but I left it alone because it's in pre-production. And yes, when we're ready to talk about that, I definitely want to get you in because I can't wait.
What? You mean my movie or your movie?
You know, your movie. I
That's
left it
in
alone because
pre-production.
it's in pre-production. It's your Charlie movie.
Oh, Charlie Lewis.
As
Yeah,
soon as
they're
you're
still
able to
trying to
talk
get
about
money.
that, we want. As soon as you're able
Okay,
to talk
but you-
about that, we want.
We got to
you
save that one.
Okay, because he's still getting the money for that.
Exactly. So as
we
soon
will
as you're able to
definitely
talk about
about
that,
it.
let's get you back.
Okay, I would love to be back on again. Maybe I'll be back on again around Halloween.
That would be
Give me
great.
a call. We'll do a Halloween show.
That's awesome. We can do that.
Okay.
Oh
On
my
that,
God.
on that happy note, I'm going
You have
to
yourself a great night and be sure to enjoy New York.
Yep. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you.
99.
Thank you. Bye.
And that was Eileen Dietz, folks. I've been telling you that you so many movies ahead and a career going right back to, I won't even say out of respect, but a very, very long career. That was an amazing, amazing interview. We're going to take a quick musical break, folks, and we will be right back.
It's time to lock the doors and turn out the lights. You're listening to Tales of the Unknown.